of Sue. I'll let him give the details of what the organization does. Again, he's a native from Roxbury.
So good evening, everybody. I appreciate being invited to come here and speak, you know. And since it's Beyond Bars, when she sent me the flyer, I was like, man, I'm coming through. I was just coming through to support because of the fact that I was. My story goes, I always say my story is, I'm a victim of the crack era. The only thing I wasn't using, I was distributing. And there's a song in Minister Society, when the guy says, I got my first kilo from my baby mama brother. That like always stuck with me because my plug was my sister's fiance. You know? So that's how I got thrown into the game. I knew about it at a young age, a little bit here and there, little dabs, you know, with the nickel bags and all that for a guy. I didn't even know what we was doing. He would just give it to us. My man's uncle, he used to give it to us. And we would just sell it, bring back all of it. And then he would give us what he wanted. So I didn't even know nothing about selling drugs back then. We were just doing it because it was an opportunity that was there. I got caught 2 different times. I got caught by the feds. I skated past, didn't do no time. My man got jammed up. I had enough money, and I was smooth enough and smart enough the time when they caught us that they had a sale indictment on them, so I skated. They getting ready to deliberate. It ain't looking good. The judge just denied my lawyer's last motion. I said, come on, let's get a 15-minute break. Let's take a recess real quick. So they all agreed, we're gonna take a quick recess. My mother and my sister was in the court. So I told my mother, when we headed to the elevator, and I told my mother, and then as we got in the elevator and closed the door, I said, Mom, I'll see you later. And she said, what do you mean? I said, see you later. She stopped crying, my sister stopped crying. And they like blocked the elevator, they wasn't gonna let me leave. I'm gonna get emotional, it hurts. I had to tell my mother, move so I don't have to move.
Gotcha, we did that right here.
So that's what happened. And she moved out the way, I took off. Now I'm a fugitive, they tried me in absentia. So I'm a fugitive, convicted felon on the run. I'm not just someone that got a warrant and they're looking for. I'm a convicted felon on the run. So I'm ended up on the run for almost a decade. I was on the run for almost a decade. Within that time on the run, I experienced prison basically on the run. When you're on the run, you're in prison. So I experienced prison on the run. That prepared me for my prison time. So I did almost a decade on the run. I go to prison. I did 11 years, 10 mandatory for the drugs. And I also did a year in the state I was in when they first caught me because of forgery and all the other fake documents that I had, license, I had all kinds of stuff. So you know what I mean? So I ended up giving them a year together, so I made it 11 years. So, but within that time when I was on the run, I started gradually changing myself, which I always tell people, I didn't change, I returned. I returned back to what I already knew. My mother raised me right. You know what I mean? I didn't go into the drug game out of poverty, out of starvation. I needed to feed my family. Like I said, it was thrown in my lap, and I rolled with it, and I was good at it. I gradually decided to turn back to what I knew. And I started from the bottom. I tried looking for jobs. I found a job at a Super Kmart. I used to walk to that job. They wasn't paying me no money, but I walked to that job every day, and I said to myself, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna do this job to the best of my ability. And from that point on, when I had that walk, I continued that to this day. And so once I got caught, when they caught me and I got extradited back, I went to the prison system. I just took it as being, like I tell everybody, I took it as being an incubation period. I was in a cocoon. And I was like, when I get out of this cocoon, I'm gonna turn into a butterfly and I'm gonna fly. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be fly. I'm gonna come out of this as a butterfly. And so I used all that stuff along the way. Get out, I get a job at temp jobs here and something like that. You know, it's a struggle when you first get out, you know. Plus, I'm going 20 years from Boston. No one knows me in Boston no more, you know, except for people that know me, but everything's different, you know. Times have changed, technology has changed. It wasn't no cell phones, wasn't no cameras. Cell phones just was coming around. There wasn't no cameras on the cell phones and everything else like that. So anyway, I guess I go for a job at Home Depot, and when the guy calls me in for an interview, I'm trying to, you know, get the job, whatever. So he's looking at my application and he says, you got a gap in your work history. He said, you got a gap in your work history. You know, what's going on with the gap? So I'm like, damn. He gives me the job. Like I said, ever since I took that walk way back when and said I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, I'm working at Home Depot. I ain't making nothing. I'm working part-time. I'm not making really no money. Along the way, I got friends that work for the city of Boston at the time. One of them told me to go down to Ashburn Place and get on civil services and apply for some jobs. They needed a reference. So I go back to the same guy at Home Depot that gave me the job. Only been there like 4.5, maybe 5 months. And I tell him, you know, I just had an interview for Public Works for the city of Boston. Lady for Human Resources needs to call you for a reference. Would you mind giving me a reference? And like I said, from that first journey walk that I took of, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, that's all that man seen out of me when I went to the Home Depot. The lady for Human Resources, she called me in to tell me that they was going to give me the job for the city. And she said to me, as long as I've been working here and doing this, I have never had a former supervisor speak highly of a person the way that man spoke about you. And so that's how I got the job. That's how I got the door. So that's why I said I'm trying to be an example of beyond boss. 5 years, within 6 years, they already said you're going to be a supervisor. And I'm like, they're like, yeah, you're going to be the next supervisor around here. In which right now I am currently the supervisor for Public Works Roxbury. So I tell everybody now, I run Roxbury. I used to think I ran Roxbury, but now I really do run Roxbury. You know, so that's my story in a short snippet of, you know, like I said, Beyond Bars is why I'm motivated to be here, and this is part of my motivation of trying to be an example and give the next guy coming home hope, and tell him take his time, be patient, and all you got to do is put your best foot forward. If you got some faith, stick with your faith and use it. You know, and anything is possible. Out of a nonprofit called Follow Suit, and I have a mission statement which is follow suit, and as you follow suit, you're going to come to realize a suit is a role model and a mentor whose purpose is to give guidance to the young men of this community as well as to society. That's my mission statement. And so, like I said, that's what I'm here for, and that's what I'm striving to do with my program, and I'm trying to be an inspiration to anyone who's been incarcerated that, yo,